Alright, this is Chat UTD. I'm going to come on to all things Man United in a few minutes time, but for those people that watch my videos, you'll know that I spoke about going to FC United. Today I took my nearly 10-year-old son. It's his first experience of live football, and we went to FC United at Broadhurst Park. They played Hebburn Town and lost 2-1. Just a quick overview of the experience. I'm not going to go into the details of the game. There was, well, first of all, 16 quid for me and my lad, all in. 2 quid for a brew. If you wanted to get a beer, you could get a beer or any drink, and just come and go as you pleased all the way throughout the game. People were just back and forth, getting beers and brews and whatever as the game was going on. We stood behind the goal. There was roughly about 600 people, I'd guess, behind that goal, and then there's probably a further 400 or 500 people on one of the sides. There's pretty much two sides that have got fans occupying it. The other side and the other end are pretty much empty. So roughly about 1,000 people. Good atmosphere, plenty of songs, some United songs, not as many as I would have liked, but plenty of inventive songs actually. I think United fans have always been good at making up songs. I love our array of songs that we've got. We're really good at that. And FC United fans are probably Man United fans, and they've made up some beauties, to be fair. There's some really good, catchy tunes which are more aligned with FC United than they are Man United, but nonetheless, got you kind of tapping your hand and tapping your feet kind of thing. So a good atmosphere. The standard of football was really bad. We were at one end, as I said, in the first half. The Hebburn scored 2 goals, so it was 2-0 at half time. In the second half, FC United were attacking that end. And I must say, you've got a team in red, white and black, getting the ball out wide, pinging balls in the box, attacking, going for it. They got one back. There was that feeling of, don't know any of the players, but there was that feeling of, come on boys, we could get something out of this. On a massively smaller scale, yeah, that was quite. It was good. It was good in the second half. My lad loved it. That's the most important thing. It's not. I don't want it. This isn't what I would want for his first football experience. I would want it to be at Manchester United. But there we go. Would I go again? Yeah. He really wants to go again, which again is the most important thing. He had a great time. Easy to get to. Easy, but parking was a piece of piss. Getting to and getting to the stadium and getting away from it and stuff was easy, no problem at all. Didn't have to pay for parking, just parked on the road pretty much outside the ground. It was mint. So I'd definitely go again. But the thing is, ain't nothing like the real thing, and it's not the real thing. Manchester United is Manchester United, and you cannot compare it. What's that Sinead O'Connor song? Nothing compares to you, it doesn't. For all the flaws, for all the stuff that's going on with the Glazers and Jim Ratcliffe, etc, 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 it's in you or it's not. And I felt a bit like I was cheating on United today, which was a bit weird. But it's better than going to Stockport County, because you're surrounded pretty much by Reds, which was decent. So as an experience, it was good. But I'm an experiential football fan. I'm an emotional football fan. I need to be invested. If I was going again, I'd go again for my boy, because he enjoyed it so much. But I want to take him to Old Trafford, and I've got my principles and I've got my stubbornness, and I don't want to give the Glazers any money, etc. But I want him to experience that. You know what I'd want him to experience more is a United away game. Because if he thinks that was decent with a few hundred people singing a few songs, Jesus, a United away game is just different gravy in it. I remember my first United away game. Just like a spiritual experience. It's incredible. So on to the real thing, the real Man United. Can't profess to have watched the game today because obviously I didn't. I was coaching my son's team, and then we went straight to FC United after that. I understand we were 2-0 down. We got it back to 2-2. I think they had a late penalty overturned. It's a good point, especially as Everton are in very good form, and it was 2-0. You got the David Moyes subplot, so it's a decent point. Just want to go back to something I did in a video over the festive period. I looked ahead at our next 8 games, starting with Newcastle as it was then, our next 8 league games, and I predicted we'd get 8 points from those games. It was we'd have Newcastle at home, Liverpool away, Southampton at home, Brighton at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Spurs away, Everton away. So Everton was the 8th of those games, and I said we'd get 8 points. That's what I thought. We did indeed get 8 points from those 8 games. So what I'd like to do is look ahead at the next 8 games and predict again what we might do from those games. So we have Ipswich at home, Ipswich at home, Arsenal at home, Leicester away, Forest away, City at home, Newcastle away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away. My predictions are Ipswich at home, I think we'll win. Arsenal at home, lose. Leicester away, win. Forest away, lose. City at home, draw. Newcastle away, lose. Wolves at home, I think that's the type of game we'll lose. Bournemouth away, again, that's the type of game we'll lose. So if I'm right, that would be 7 points that I think we might get from the next 8 games, which will take us to 37, and we'll have 4 games to go, which is pitiful for Manchester United. I might be bang wrong, but that's what I think will happen. The Europa League draw was yesterday. So we've got Real Sociedad away first and then at home. I think that's a 50-50 game. There is a pathway now to see who we could get in the next rounds. Let's just look at it. Speculative. I'm by no means getting ahead of myself here, but if we got through, the quarterfinal would be against either Bucharest, who we've already played, or Lyon. I imagine that would be Lyon, which would be tough. Semi-final was one of Fenerbahce, Rangers, Roma, or Bilbao, and the final would be one of Spurs, Ajax, Lazio, or Eintracht Frankfurt. I can never say that word, Frankfurt. You just don't know, do you? That's the problem with United. You flip a coin. I don't know. It's difficult. These games really matter. Those Europa League games. I don't know. None of those teams are massively superior to us, but we're not massively superior to any of those teams either. So it's really hard to say. I think we should have a decent chance of doing okay in it, but we can stink the place out against anybody, and we can do really well against anybody. I think that tournament's massive, though. I'm not asked about getting in the Champions League. The fact you win the Europa League, you get in the Champions League, I actually don't think that'd be very good for this team. It'd be good for the club financially, but we'll get spanked most weeks if we play in the Champions League. It'll be a bloody tedious experience. But financially for the club, it would be good, and we'd be in Europe. I want us to win the Europa League because I want us to win the Europa League. I actually want us to win the FA Cup so we'd get into a European competition. But Fulham in the FA Cup's a 50-50 game. Those standards, as I did that video on the erosion of standards, they've just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped, and so much so that I'm making predictions there that we're going to get 7 points out of 8 games, and I'm not throwing my hands in the air saying this is outrageous. Just think that's the way it is. So I just hope we do all right in the Europa League and push on and just give us something to be interested in for the rest of the season, because the league is just an absolute war of attrition. It don't really matter either way. It's a decent point today, but it's neither here nor there. We're marooned between kind of 16th and 12th. We're probably not going to go any lower or any higher. And we've got 12 games to go, is it? I think. Super. So just a quick video, bit of an overview there of the experience of FC United. For anyone that's interested, a look ahead at the league games, a look back at the league games, the Europa League. The bigger picture is all the stuff I did in my video last night. If you haven't watched that, if you're a subscriber especially and you watch most of my videos, please give it a watch. I know Friday night sometimes not the easiest of time to watch things, so please give that a watch if you can and you've got a bit of time, just to look at those financial results that were shared on Wednesday, and the I guess what we do about it as a fan base. What can we do? So there's a video on that. That's far more important than any of the stuff that's going on the pitch at the moment. So as always, Glazers out.